There are several things that I was absolutely convinced were completely true when I started my business that after nearly a decade of owning one, pretty sure were entirely wrong. So let's talk about them. Number one, I thought that business was mostly about strategy, and it's not. Most businesses already know exactly what they need to do. They should follow up faster. They should train better. They should communicate more clearly. They should be better at holding people accountable. The problem isn't knowing what to do. The problem is doing those things consistently. Because honestly, every single time things get hard, people make excuses. Standards start to slip. People start taking shortcuts. And I'm convinced that execution beats strategy way more often than strategy beats execution. Number two, I thought that growing fast would solve a lot of problems. Now, I think that growing fast makes problems harder to ignore because cash gets tighter, communication gets all over the place, and those bad decisions you make get really, really expensive. Everyone wants to talk about things like doubling revenue, but no one wants to talk about how that makes things really, really hard. Growth doesn't magically create discipline with your team. If anything, it exposes places where discipline has been missing kind of all along. Number three, I thought that if you were to hire smart people, eventually they just figure things out. But man, totally wrong. Smart people need clarity. They still need context. They still need expectations, and they still need feedback. Honestly, the older I get, the more I think that confusion is usually a leadership team problem, not an employee problem, because it is amazing how often a pretty average employee becomes pretty exceptional with great leadership, great training, and great systems. It's also equally amazing how fast a talented A player can look really mediocre when you give them none of those things. Number four, I thought the goal was to build a business that needed me, that showcased what I was really good at. Now I think the goal is building one that doesn't, because at first, look, it feels really good to build a company around your strengths because everyone needs you, everyone talks to you, everyone comes to you for help. And then one day, you kind of wake up and realize you accidentally built yourself into this prison and you can't leave, you can't unplug, you can't take time off. And you can't just disappear for a week with your family because everything depends on you, every sales call, every process. And that is not freedom. That's dependency, and it sucks. Five, I used to think that disagreement meant that something was wrong and that people were toxic and dysfunctional. But now I'm really suspicious of teams who don't know how to disagree. The best leadership teams I've ever worked with challenge each other, and they do it constantly, and they do it lovingly. It's not because they don't trust each other, it's because they do trust each other. They know that their relationship can survive having a disagreement. And because of that, those ideas that they have get really, really sharp. Number six, I used to think my job was to have all the answers. So people come to me with questions, clients come to me with questions, and I had to know the answers. The funny thing is, the answer is usually sitting somewhere else in the room, somebody else's brain. But now I think the job is to ask better questions. I think kind of the funny thing is the answer I found is usually somewhere in the team, somewhere in the room, in someone else's brain, someone who's closer to the problem than I will ever be. And it's somebody who often sees things differently than I do. The challenge isn't really knowing the answer. The challenge is creating a conversation that uncovers it and does it in a way that people feel like they can speak it. Number seven, I thought that being successful as a business would make all the uncertainty and all the imposter syndrome go away. It doesn't. It doesn't at all. In fact, every level of growth just came with bigger and more complicated decisions. There are more consequences, there are more people affected, there's more money on the line, and you don't often become more certain. You just become more kind of comfortable making decisions without that certainty. And honestly, that can be really terrifying even now sometimes. So that's for me, but I'm curious for you. What's something that you were absolutely convinced was true when you started your business that you're pretty sure is absolutely wrong now?